How's it going, YouTube? This is Manny from Manny Fresh Bets, bringing you my Week 3 NCAA football picks. If this is the first time watching one of my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, comment, and share. Again, these are the Week 3 college football picks. I've already made a few parlays here, so let's get right to it. So I made a 14-leg parlay for this first one. I took Florida State minus 2.5 for Friday's game, tomorrow's game. This one could be close. I just think that Florida State will win by at least a field goal. And then I also took the under in that game, 56.5. I think both defenses will stop the other offenses, and I think that will hit the under. So we need under 57 for that one. Basically, we need 56 or under. 57 or over will basically lose the bet. Then I took Air Force at the money line at minus 630 versus Wyoming. I took, obviously, Georgia, big odds there at minus 3,000. Obviously, it's probably going to be a blowout. Took Oklahoma against Nebraska. If you've been listening to my videos, you will know how I feel about Nebraska. They finally fired their coach, which is a long time coming. But I feel like Oklahoma is just going to blow them out probably by 2 touchdowns. I have Cincinnati against Miami of Ohio. Then I have Baylor beating Texas State. I have Rutgers beating Temple. I have UCLA versus beating Alabama. I have Iowa State at the money line against Ohio. I have Notre Dame beating Cal. That one scares me a little bit because Notre Dame has not looked good. I just feel like they are going to win, but I don't see that being a blowout. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. So I took Notre Dame. I also took Kansas State minus 13.5 against Tulane. I feel like Kansas State, coming off that blowout win, is going to keep that momentum going, and I could see them beating Tulane by 2 touchdowns or more. Then I took Mississippi State beating Georgia Tech. And finally, I took Appalachian State beating Troy. As you can see, I bet $1 to win about $22. Then this was kind of the bigger parlay, more kind of riskier, more aggressive parlay. 24 legs, so obviously take out any bets that you don't you don't feel as comfortable with, or just take out legs in general. I usually do these kind of lotto plays just to try to see if they hit. I've hit a few of these, and I've won a pretty good amount of money with these long parlays. But obviously, don't bet a lot. They don't hit very often, so I just kind of take a gamble here. I took Wyoming plus 14.5 against Air Force, but I took Air Force at the money line as well. So I feel like Air Force is going to win the game, but I feel like Wyoming is going to keep it within at least 2 touchdowns. So basically, Air Force needs to win by a touchdown plus 2 touchdowns plus a point for them to cover that spread. I think Wyoming keeps it closer than that. And again, I took Baylor, Cincinnati, Georgia, Iowa State, UCLA, Notre Dame. I already explained to you how I feel about that game. I also took UNLV minus 2.5, so they need to win by a field goal or more against North Texas. That one is a little iffy. I just took it because of the odds. They kind of make the payout a little bigger. But I do feel like UNLV should win by a field goal or more against North Texas. Again, I took Kansas State at the money line versus Tulane. I took Auburn plus 3.5 against Penn State. I mean, I think Auburn is going to actually win this game. I can see them winning. And if they lose, I don't see them losing by by more than a field goal. So I feel a little bit comfortable about that Auburn plus 3.5 against Penn State. Then I took Minnesota against Colorado. I took Wake Forest against Liberty. NC State against Texas Tech. Texas Tech has Texas up deck. So I'm a big believer on, kind of these setup games. A team has a big rival coming up the next week. They kind of tend to overlook the game that they're playing this week. It happens in the NFL all the time. Kind of those things that they call trap games. NC State is favored in this game, but Texas Tech is a good team. I just feel like they're just looking ahead of that next game, and NC State is probably gonna win, and they're probably gonna win by probably like 7 or 10 points. And then I took Ohio State against Toledo. I actually like the over in that game. I think the over is like 70 something, I believe. Sounds like a lot, but I've watched a lot of Toledo games. I watched a lot of Ohio State games. If Toledo could get like 20, 24 points, I think Ohio State could score 50 something. So I think that over might hit. So I might actually look at that game to bet it just as one leg parlay, like not even parlay, just a one leg straight up bet on the over. Then I took Memphis against Arkansas State. I took SMU plus 2.5 against Maryland again. This is tricky. Maryland is a good team, but I feel SMU is going to keep it close. They can score. So I feel like this is going to come down to like a last-minute field goal, last-minute touchdown, or SMU can, kind of go and back cover with a late field goal or a late touchdown to keep it within 2.5 points. I took Pittsburgh against Western Michigan. I took Florida to beat South Florida. Took Iowa to beat Nevada. Texas to beat UTSA. UTSA is actually a pretty good team, but Texas is the stronger team. And then I took Utah to beat San Diego State. I took Fresno State plus 12.5 against USC. I feel like Fresno State is being a little bit undervalued. I think I could see them losing by like 10. I just don't see them losing by more than 12. So I took a gamble there. And then I took Arizona State versus Eastern Michigan. I bet $1.25 to win 216. And then I took a 5-leg parlay. This one I don't feel very comfortable with. Oklahoma, yes, the 4.5. Again, I've explained to you how I'm totally out on Nebraska since the beginning of the season. Notre Dame minus 17.5. That one is the one that I don't feel comfortable with. I don't see Notre Dame blowing Cal out. I think they're going to win by maybe like 7, maybe 10, maybe a 4-point game, a 3-point game. But I don't see them blowing Cal out by that much, 18 points. This one also I'm not comfortable with. I bet this very early in the week. So I bet this in June. So I bet this very, very early before, I like to take bets early just because I get a better value. But obviously this one backfired on me, and it's a worse value because now, I have Oregon beating BYU by basically a touchdown. And now the line, I think, is 3.5 or 2.5. So I got worse value, kind of backfired on me. But again, I bet $1 to win $26 back in June. I got Mississippi State minus 10 against Georgia Tech. And then I got Michigan State minus 3 against Washington. I believe Washington is actually the favorite now. So this kind of backfired on me. So if you don't feel comfortable, don't bet on that one. Bet it really early. Backfired is probably going to lose. So don't follow that one. This one I did. I do like. I got Oklahoma again beating Nebraska. Cincy. I got the under in the Purdue Syracuse game. I think this is going to be lower scoring than people think. And I think, Purdue's probably going to score. Syracuse is probably going to score, but I think the defenses are going to take over and come below that 59.5. Then I took Coastal Carolina. This was a team that I bet a lot 2 years ago. Not betting them that much this year because they're not as explosive. They lost a couple of guys to the NFL and a couple of guys, just to graduation. But they're still a good team. I think they should be able to beat Buffalo. I took Virginia to beat Old Dominion. Old Dominion is a tricky team. We saw them. I believe they beat Eastern Carolina, I believe it was. They pulled out the upset on one team a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So they could be tricky. But I think Virginia is going to win that game. Then I took UCLA to beat South Alabama. I took Iowa State to beat Ohio. I took Notre Dame to beat Cal. Again, I already let you know how I feel about that game. And then I took Kansas State, Minnesota, Appalachian State. I took Marshall to beat Bowling Green. I took Wake Forest to beat Liberty, Memphis to beat Arkansas State, Florida to beat South Florida, Pittsburgh to win against Western Michigan, and then I took Utah to beat San Diego State, and I bet $2 to win 31. And then this last one, let me see. Yeah, so this is the last one that I did that I feel fairly comfortable with. I took Oklahoma State to beat Nebraska by 11 or more. NC State to beat Texas Tech. I took the over in the UTSA Texas game. UTSA could score. Texas could score. I can see this game being like 38 to like 31, 37 to like, 30. I feel like these two teams are going to score. So I took the over in that game. I took Clemson minus 33.5 versus Louisiana Tech. I know, very risky to win by 34, but Louisiana Tech lost to Missouri by like 30. So if they lost to Missouri by 30, Clemson is probably, if they really put the metal to, the pedal to the metal, so to speak, they can probably win by 40 against Louisiana Tech. So that's what I took there. Kind of risky. Follow at your own, at your own risk. Then I took Miami, Florida, plus 5.5 against Texas A&M. I think Miami could keep this game close and maybe even win it. So I took my plus 5.5. And then another kind of risky one, it was taking San Diego State plus 20.5 against Utah. Utah's, obviously the better team. But I just don't see San Diego State getting blown out by, basically 3 touchdowns. I think that game is going to be like, by 17, by 14, maybe even by 10 if San Diego State plays good defense. So again, I bet $1 to win $34. So that's my week 3 picks for NCAA football, guys. I hope you guys have a great Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Obviously, college football Friday and Saturday. Hope you guys win. Let me know in the comment section what you guys are thinking about these picks. Again, going with a few higher spreads, which I usually don't do. Going with a few totals. But I'll be posting live bets Friday and Saturday for college football on my Twitter. It's at MannyFreshBets. Hit me up on there. Again, have a great Friday, great Saturday of college football. I will speak to you guys soon, and good luck with your bets.